It's crushing, isn't it? Pouring your heart and every waking hour into building something real, something new, only to stare at the blank page where your go-to-market plan should be. Your gut screams that the old ways won't work for what you're building. The traditional GTM playbooks feel like chains, like a record stuck in the past while the world races ahead. You face endless noise. Follow this funnel. Spend on ads. Find product market fit first, then scale. But deep down, you know the startup game has changed, and those rules? They're lies dressed as comfort. They lull most founders into mediocrity, into templates and herd behaviors that kill originality before it even breathes. You're not here to be average. You don't want to spend months crafting a 50-page GTM plan that ends up tossed in the bin when reality slaps you awake. Because traditional GTM plans are slow, rigid, and blind to the rapid, chaotic nature of today's markets. They cage innovators in spreadsheets and timelines while the real world moves at the speed of fire. The problem isn't just that this method feels outdated, it actively destroys your chance to win. It strangles the creativity and agility at the core of what you represent. Top startups, the lightning rods of innovation, have cracked a secret code you haven't been told. They aren't trapped by the old go-to-market dogma. They don't churn out endless documents or rely solely on tired marketing funnels. They win by ditching the rulebook. They build an unshakable pulse with their customers, moving fluidly, learning obsessively, pivoting instantly. They don't guess or forecast what if. They sprint headfirst into the market, testing raw truths, tearing down assumptions before competition even knows what's happening. Here's the brutal truth. If you cling to a traditional GTM plan, expecting it to guide you perfectly, you're setting yourself up to lose. Because the market, your buyers, your competitors, they aren't waiting. They don't pause for your well-polished strategy deck. The founders who win are the ones who treat the market as a living, breathing organism, not a spreadsheet to manage. They embrace chaos and crack it open. They build tiny experiments, real conversations, raw feedback loops that no plan can predict. That's their weapon. So how do they do it? How do the top startups break free? First, they obsess over who truly needs what they offer, even if that means ignoring large, obvious segments chasing buzzwords. They hunt for that one tiny group screaming loud and clear with pain, frustration, and urgency. They get in so deep they feel the customer's problem in their own bones. This intimacy beats any market research survey filtered through layers of stale assumptions. Next, they start selling before they perfect the product. Imagine the courage it takes to share an unfinished solution, to engage in raw, messy conversations with real users hungry for a fix. They ship small bits, prototypes, value-added services, building trust and relationships before a single, official launch. This pre-launch selling cuts through the noise because they're not selling an idea, they're selling change. They offer relief from pain that has been ignored or misunderstood by others. Then, these startups use real-time data like a sixth sense, not just metrics but emotional signals, word-of-mouth ripples, a single customer's enthusiasm turned into wildfire on niche channels. They listen to whispers in the ecosystem no one else hears. And because they move fast, they turn every insight into a new test, a new angle, a new approach. Their GTM is a constant cycle of doing, learning, and adapting, not a page frozen in time. Here's a critical piece most miss. They don't overinvest in sales and marketing until the product cracks the code of value. Too many founders pour cash into social media ads or growth hacks, chasing vanity numbers. But top startups patiently build a foundation of undeniable product love by real people in real contexts. This leads to authentic traction that scales organically, powered by community, referrals, and sheer customer obsession. But more than tactics, this new GTM mindset is a rebellion. It's a refusal to live by rules written for companies of the past, not for the edge, the rare, the exceptional. It's a mindset that rejects comfort, the illusion of security in planning and predictions, in favor of ferocious, relentless freedom. Because true freedom means crafting your own future, instead of copying a playbook that works for nobody except the status quo. If this sounds risky, that's because it is. But what's the alternative? Another year spent spinning your wheels? Another pitch meeting where investors ask about repeatable sales processes you don't actually have. Top startups embrace risk, not because they're reckless, but because they understand that the biggest risk is not to risk. To stay inside the boxes crafted by others is the slow death of potential. This approach draws power not from scale or sameness, but from radical individual sovereignty. The founders and leaders who reject imposed structures and build their own aligned networks instead, networks where brilliance collides and multiplies, this is where true GTM revolution happens. These are the founders who don't beg for platforms or channels. They create platforms of their own, tailored to tight, loyal audiences, connected by shared pain points and aspirations. In this world, marketing isn't a campaign. It's a conversation, a real dialogue where the startup listens more than it speaks, and where every touchpoint is an act of deep care and understanding. Sales is not a pitch. It's an extension of empathy. Growth isn't a number on a chart. It's a living community of people who believe in the mission as fiercely as the founder. And here's the best part. This path unlocks a kind of internal alignment and passion that no traditional GTM plan can buy. When every move is driven by direct signals from the edge, your customers' raw needs, your team's real capacity, your vision's true north, your energy compounds, you become magnetic. People don't just buy from you, they join you. To break free, one has to unlearn the false gospel of control and certainty. You have to accept that you will never have it all figured out, and that GTM is not a static plan, but a living, breathing force that evolves alongside your startup. This demands a courage so fierce, it blinds you to fear, a curiosity so sharp, it disarms doubt, and a patience so deep, it outlasts every setback. The path looks like this. Stop planning in isolation. Start engaging your earliest users like partners and co-creators. Build small, test fast, and build trust relentlessly. Trust that your sharp focus on a genuine problem will pave your way forward. Reject the pressure to scale prematurely. Invest in real relationships, real stories, real growth. Tune your senses to the subtle shifts in behavior, sentiment, and demand. And above all, cultivate the mindset of the relentless edge player, the one who questions everything, who sees the rules not as walls, but as challenges to break. Nobody else will give you permission to do this. Nobody else's map leads here. This is for the founders who burn with the fire of far more than a business idea. They want to create ripples that become tsunamis, not noise disguised as momentum. They want to disrupt not just markets, but mindsets. They want to lead from the edge because they know that's where real progress begins. If you feel that burning tension inside, that aching hunger, not just to succeed, but to transform, you already know this truth deep down. The GTM plans of old are graves. You're meant to build living bridges. Build your startup like you're speaking directly to the handful, maybe the few, who are waiting for exactly what you're creating. Build it loud, raw, authentic. Build it fast, flexible, fearless. Build it different. Because top startups don't win by following maps. They win by making new ones. Maps that don't constrain, but liberate. Maps that connect the misaligned and misunderstood and turn their isolated brilliance into a movement that no traditional GTM plan ever dreamed of creating. There is no shortcut. There is no safe route. But there is a path, a wild, powerful, alive path to victory without a traditional GTM plan. It's not found in a binder or a slide deck. It's created by every raw, brutal conversation you dare to have, every messy prototype you're brave enough to ship, every painful pivot you push through, every moment you reject comfort in favor of relentless becoming. This is the GTM for the few who refuse to blend in, for the rare founders who know that to win, they must burn brighter, move faster, and build deeper connections than anyone around them, for those who see that the old rules are relics and the new future belongs to the ones ready to break away, create anew, and own their unshakable power. You don't need a traditional GTM plan to win. You need obsession, courage, and a new kind of freedom, a freedom born of fierce connections, rapid experiments, and radical empathy. You need to craft your GTM as a living thing, built by the edge, for the edge. This is how top startups win. This can be your way. The world is waiting for the few who dare to go beyond the plan and into the wild, relentless market dance of today. It's time. It's now. It's your move.